The service is starting.
The service is starting. Good morning. This will be welcome to this virtual and in-person service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Idaho Falls on this 24th day of April 2022. This morning we will be presenting the Get Rooted, Get Ready service from the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth. But before we start, there are several really important announcements to make. First, the installation, long-awaited installation of Reverend Kevin will take place on May 15th in a special service at 2 p.m. There will be a regular service at 10 o'clock or 10:30 on that same day. But be sure that you remember the installation. Also, and very important, the virtual auction that is going on that started last Tuesday and will end midnight on this coming Tuesday night is functional, and many people have put bids in already, but hopefully many more will. So be sure and get on to, I believe that is virtualauction.bid/UUCIF. So, and seems to me there's some other important announcement, but I don't remember another one right now. Elizabeth Cogliati will talk about the children right now.
So because we're having a pre-recorded service today, we're going to take the children down right now. And so they will be able to be picked up in the old yoga room after the service, not in Fellowship Hall. Turn left at the bottom of the stairs. Thank you. Oh, and now it's time for our pre-recorded service from the UU Ministry for the Earth.
And one other thing for people who are watching online, virtually, be sure and check into the chat box so that we know who is there. With that, we will begin the service streaming from the Unitarian Universalist Earth Service. Thank you.
Welcome. We are honored and grateful to gather in reverence and worship with you today. My name is Allie Tharp, and my pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
My name is Reverend Daniel Lawler, and my pronouns are he, him. Allie and I are co-directors of the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth. At UU Ministry for Earth, our mission is to be a wellspring of spiritual grounding, education, and accountable action for environmental justice, climate justice, and the flourishing of all life.
As Dana Clark reminds us in her new climate hymn, debuting during this very service, it will take all of us, working with all of us, doing what none of us can do alone. Thank you for joining together with UU Ministry for Earth to support and embody this important mission. It will take all of us.
Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth is honored to welcome you into this worship service, where we will meditate on Earth's elements and listen to the call for Earth justice, a call to action in the face of the climate crisis. Now, this service structure may be a bit different from what you're used to. We hope it will be a visual feast, reminding us that as living beings, we are anchored in the elements of earth, fire, water, and air. We will also be doing some physical movement and somatic exercises led by Sahar Musin Lofman. Please join in these exercises as you are willing and able, so that we may worship literally in body and spirit.
On behalf of UU Ministry for Earth, we extend our deepest gratitude to all of the collaborators who helped bring this worship together. Worship coordinator, Reverend Dr. Leonisa Artizone, for her singing, Story of All Ages, and reflection. Reverend Mariela Perez Simmons and Sahar Musin Lofman for their elemental meditations and movement. Minister David Waters for his prayer. Musician Dennis Yeary. Video editor and choir director John Olin. Dana Clark, creator of the new climate hymn, All of Us, all of our virtual choir participants, all the congregations who are sharing this worship service, the minister Stacy Craig, as well as Rose Singleton, and every member of the amazing team behind the Intergenerational Spring Seminar. A heartfelt thank you so very much.
As Unitarian Universalists, we celebrate the sacred circle of life and confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. Today, as we light our chalice, we are called into the space the words of Reverend Marta Valentin from the meditation Lifting Our Voices. We come together today to honor the universal community of seekers to which we all belong. We gather today to share from our deepest place of safety, that we might nurture ourselves by celebrating one another. We call into our presence this hour our ancestors, whose love, labor, and commitment made it possible for us to be here now. Let us call one another to the table of abundance, that we may feed on those fruits that sustain us and that ever ask us to grow. And as I light our chalice, let us be open to this moment with hearts that have no borders. May it be so. Amen.
And now a land acknowledgement from Ana Maria de la Rosa. Take a moment to center yourself in a land acknowledgement, not as a function of ownership or reclamation, not as an empty exercise with no accountability, but rather as a continuation of our role as stewards. Thank the Indigenous and Native caretakers of the land you are on and from. If you know their names, speak them now. And if you do not, commit to learning them. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary towards land reparations. To our Native brothers and sisters and siblings, we say, you are still here. We will not erase you. Thank the African hands and bodies that have toiled the land you are on, a role forced on them originally through enslavement. Thank them for the seeds they brought over, hidden and braided in their hair, seeds that still sustain us. Gratitude for the farming and storing wisdom we have inherited and continue to learn from. This place that carries their blood, sweat, and tears, these too tell the story of place. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary towards reparations. Honor their memory in this moment in humble gratitude. Keeping your hand on your heart, take a moment to acknowledge that you too are land. You are the continuation of the story of place. Thank your body for the ways that it holds your landscapes. Interrupt the belief that there is separation between you and nature. You are merely an extension. You are land personified. To be stewards of the land includes protecting your heart as fiercely as you would the redwoods, a beehive, the ocean. To admit we are land means we commit to tending to each other as well. In this moment, with your hand over your heart, commit to personally taking whatever steps are necessary towards tending yourself and each other tenderly.
If blood will flow when flesh and steel are one, drying in the color of the evening sun, tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Mañana ya la sangre no estará. Al caer la lluvia se la llevará. Acero y piel, combinación tan cruel, pero algo en nuestras mentes quedará. Un acto así terminará con una vida y nada más. Nada se logra con violencia, ni se logrará. A todos los que han nacido en un mundo así, no olviden su fragilidad. Lloras tú y lloro yo, y el cielo también, y el cielo también. Lloras tú y lloro yo, qué fragilidad, qué fragilidad. cielo también. Oh, llores tú y lloro yo. Qué fragilidad, qué fragilidad. Oh, on and on the rain will fall like tears from the sky, like tears from a star. Oh, on and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
The earth is steady. When you are close to the earth, you feel grounded. Your nervous system is more regulated. Your blood pressure tends to drop. Those of you who are blessed to have steadiness, the steadiness of the earth as part of your personality, you tend to be people who can be counted on. Those of you with the earth element are firm and steady. You are builders, providers of stability in any team, in your family. Anywhere you go, you provide stability for others. Yes, you have to watch out for rigidity, but in general, this element is the foundation of everything. The earth holds everything. So it is essential for us to find the steadiness of the earth somewhere. It can be by connecting directly to the earth and feeling that support, or by having a community that fully supported, that you feel you can rest on. And again, things in your life, spiritual practices, structures in your life that support you and support your nervous system. It is essential for us to find the steadiness of the earth. Gracias, Mother Earth, Pachamama, Madre Tierra. Thank you for your steadiness, your stability. Thank you.
Let's simply begin by tapping our chest. Even though I worry about the state of the earth, I am also the earth that needs care and deeply and completely accept myself. Golden Ball Qigong. Envision yourself holding a golden ball. As you inhale, the ball expands. As you exhale, it contracts. Inhale to breathe it into your chest. Exhale to breathe it out of your chest. Inhale to bring it down towards the earth. And exhale to dissipate. Shake it out and shake yourself out with it. The waters come next on top of the earth. Water gives life to the earth. Few things in nature could live without water. Do you remember the first time you experienced water? It was in the womb.
In humans, the water element is connected to our emotions, which, like waters, they arrive at the shores of our lives constantly. The waters, like our emotions, wants to move. It is all about movement with this element. Are your waters flowing fluidly, or are they frozen? The waters can bring you high. Think about the feelings of joy, rapture, bliss, ecstasy. But they can also bring you deep, way down deep. And you can get lost in there if you're not careful. In the depth of those emotions. Sometimes it's hard to breathe when we are down there, when the emotions are so strong. The water element is connected to our emotions, yes, but also our sexuality, our sensuality, our creativity, our desires for life. Artists tend to live from here. We love flavors and colors and beauty. While some take in the world intellectually, we let the world in through our senses. We receive the information from the world, about reality through our senses, and that is very satisfying, very, very satisfying. There is a thirst that comes with being human, and this element quenches that thirst. So, gracias, agua. Thank you, waters. Thank you.
Kidney Qigong. Place one hand palm face away on your lower back over your kidney. With the other hand, make a circular motion in front of you as if you are scooping water and depositing it on the opposite shoulder. Do this continuously. Move with your breath. At some point, when you are ready to switch sides, make the motion continuous and smooth. Now your other hand is on your lower back, over the opposite kidney, palm faced away. The new hand is now making the circular motion, scooping water and depositing it on the opposite shoulder.
So there is earth, then there is water, and a little higher than that is the fire element, this energy that rises. I love fire. I love, love, love fire. I need fire, actually, we all do. When I'm lost, I always come to the fire, to the light, to the warmth. Fire illuminates and it brings clarity. Fire brings warmth and energy. According to multiple traditions, the fire element lives in the solar plexus of our body, the middle of our body right here. There's actual heat in that area. This is the center of our willpower, our dignity, our energy, our ability to go after the things we want in life, our ability to defend what we love. If our willpower was not broken, we have a lot of fire inside of us, this ability to take action. If our willpower was broken, we tend to have more shame and we tend to have less fire and less energy and we go inward. So it is so essential in these days for those of us who love the earth, who want to create change in the world. It is so important to cultivate the fire element inside of us. Because again, the power over strategies of this Western culture has kept many of us from this very essential element. It's essential for our survival and the survival of our planet. We need our fire to bring light to this world, to bring energy, to defend, to create change in this world. I love my fire. I tend to my fire, and it is sacred. It is a sacred element that we need to cultivate. So I invite you to do the same, to tend to your sacred fire within. Gracias, fuego. Thank you, fire.
Do not do this breath work if you are pregnant or on your moon cycle. Breath of fire. Open your mouth and pant like a dog. Then close your mouth and do the same breath out of your nose. If your navel is pumping, you're doing it correctly. Take your thumb and pointer finger to touch, making Jnana Mudra. Make sure your eye gaze is at the center of the forehead. Tuck your chin to engage the Jalandhara band and make sure you don't collapse your chest or back. Straight spine. As you inhale, think Sat, which means truth. And as you exhale, think Nam, which means identity. After you practice this for a few moments, make sure to take your biggest inhale, hold the breath for 10 to 15 seconds, then exhale and release.
The World That Jack Built by Ruth Brown. This is the house that Jack built. These are the trees that grow by the house that Jack built. This is the stream that flows past the trees that grow by the house that Jack built. These are the meadows that border the stream that flows past the trees that grow by the house that Jack built. These are the woods that shelter the meadows that border the stream that flows past the trees that grow by the house that Jack built. These are the hills that form the valley that surrounds the woods, that shelter the meadows, that border the stream, that flows past the trees, that grow by the house that Jack built. These are the hills that form the valley next to the one that surrounds the woods, that shelter the meadows, that border the stream, that flows past the trees, that grow by the house that Jack built. And these are the woods that cover those hills and shelter the meadows that border the stream. That flows past the place where the trees used to grow, next to the factory that Jack built. don't remember when I bought the world that Jack built, but I know that my child was small at the time, and I know that I immediately loved it. It's not the cheeriest of children's books. To this day, people come up to me and say, "Ooh, that's a bit of a bummer." And I suppose it is. But it's honest. And we are clearly at a place in time where we need to be honest and realistic about the state of the planet. As we follow Jack's little black cat while he bounces through the air, across the earth and over the water, we see the splendor of nature, the beauty and the bounty and the gifts. We are drawn into Ruth Brown's illustrations of clean air, flowing healthy water, and an earth manifesting so much life. And then we see the opposite. We see contaminated water, polluted air, damaged trees. We can also imagine what she didn't draw, what we don't directly see, just how far this destruction reaches. Through these images, we come to understand that the choices Jack made had an impact, a harmful one. So for me, this book is not a bummer, but rather an invitation. An invitation to acknowledge the damage humans have done to the planet, especially humans who have intentionally chosen to live disconnected from creation. The latest report from the International Panel on Climate Change has unequivocally stated that humans are the cause of global warming. Thus, the time for debate or disengagement has passed, and we must now all turn to the spiritual and transformative sources that will guide us as we work to stop the progress of climate change and all its attendant effects, including extreme weather, rising sea levels, forced migration, habitat destruction, food deserts, and a sixth extinction. It is also important to note that many of these horrors disproportionately affect those who have done the least to contribute to global warming. Now, we mustn't feel overwhelmed. We are gathered here today, UUs around the country, maybe the world, as people who care. We are here to get grounded so we can stay ready for the work ahead of us. And you know, we don't have to guess about what to do. Scientists and researchers have told us exactly what we need to do. We must decrease the amount of greenhouse gases going into the environment and increase our carbon sinks, which help to absorb carbon dioxide. So, simply, we must stop using fossil fuels. We have to replace harmful farming and animal-based agriculture and stop overconsumption and other exploitative practices. We must also plant trees, support local sustainable and seasonal agriculture, and use water and other resources more mindfully. Now, we can do all these things in some way on the personal and local level. Make changes that not only have an impact, but also model for our friends and neighbors a different way to live. And perhaps more importantly, we can all work together to change the oppressive, dehumanizing, and damaging capitalist system that has gotten us to this point. Collectively, we are stronger, and our united voices and actions can shift our current way of being to something more humane, more connected, more mindful. You see, there is a new path to make, and we are the ones to do it. To do so, we will need grounding. We already have the knowledge. Science has given us that. We need the spiritual connection and sustenance to act.
to go deep, to go all in. So what calls you into connection with all of creation? Is it walking barefoot on the earth, feeling dirt beneath your feet, or digging into soil and communing with the microbes and mycelia? Is it sitting on the shore of a lake or the sea, perhaps diving into the depths of the water, exploring this vastness that hosts so much life, which in turn gives us life? Is it taking a walk and marveling at the symbiotic relationship between photosynthesizers and your lungs as you breathe deeply and fill yourself with oxygen? Is it standing in front of a campfire, watching the flames spit as twigs get reduced to their elemental carbon, providing you with warmth and perspective? I am a firm believer that if we are going to care about the planet, we need to have a relationship with the planet. A relationship founded upon respect, reciprocity, and reverence. We need to understand that every living thing is made of the same elements: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. And that each of these four elements interact in wondrous ways to create the elements that Reverend Mariela and Sahar have invited us to explore: earth, water, fire, and air. We are all connected. I invite you to consider which of the meditations shared today speaks to your spirit. Which will guide you into your sacred activism? What practices will you add into your daily life that can heal you, that can replenish your body, mind, and spirit, that will feed your call to care for creation? I pray that each of us finds that which will give us strength, will guide us, and will sustain us. I pray that we all find a way to practice reverence for our Mother Earth. I pray that we find ourselves rooted and ready for the task at hand. I pray that we all feel called to live more simply so that others may simply live. May it be so.
So the earth is down here supporting everything. Then comes the water with its delicious nourishment. And on top of that, we have the rising energy of the fire to mobilize us and get us to take action. And last but not least at all is the element of air. I was 11 or 12 years old when I first experienced the beauty, the harmony, the love of the air element. I was working outside in a orange orchard in Cuba, and I was alone, and I was feeling afraid. And all of a sudden, this gust of wind came out of nowhere, and it engulfed me. I felt uplifted, as if I was floating a few feet above ground. The air element has this uplifting quality to it. It's being associated with spirit, with the heart center, with the goodness, the benevolence of life, with harmony. I love the earth element. We connect with this element by opening a window or going outside to take a few deep breaths. We can feel it against our skin, how it plays with our hair, how it feels our lungs cleaning us. Breath work is an amazing practice. The wise sages of time have always known that these practices of breath work, deep breathing, connect us to spirit. So we become more benevolent, more altruistic, more playful, lighter when we cultivate the air element inside of us. And yes, again, because the heart is all about relationships, it's this energy that wants to connect. And so I want to invite you now for a minute to place your hand over your heart, to feel your heartbeat, and to connect to that center of loving kindness, and to live and to connect and to give from that place of benevolence, of goodness, of kindness, of love. Thank you, air element. Thank you, spirit. Thank you, love.
Lung Chi massage. Make a corkscrew motion with the pointer and middle finger to massage your chest in the divot below your shoulder. Rub the energy down the arm and out the thumb before repeating this massage into the lung point on the opposite side. In 5 elements Qigong, the lungs are associated with grief. Now let's replenish with fresh lung Qi by massaging first the thumb, then up the arm towards the grief point. Hold the hand lightly here to breathe in and replenish. Now switch sides. Lung Qigong. Connect the thumb and pointer finger with the arms stretched out ahead. Inhale to breathe the arms wide open and exhale to bring them back in front of you. Keep a slight bend in both the arms and legs and repeat the motion. Move with your breath. Shake it all off to close the practice. Move and shake your body to release. Yoni Kriya, Lotus Mudra. Connect your pinky fingers. Now connect your thumbs. The other fingers are splayed wide. Inhale long and slow through the straw-like mouth and exhale through the nose. Bring your hands to chest level. Your eye gaze is on the tip of your nose. Remember to end with your deepest inhale before holding the breath and then releasing.
Wherever you find yourself right now, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your commitment to figuring out how do we partner with one another? How do we listen to these elements that surround us and create us and that we're part of? How do we listen and create communities of healing and justice that can speak to this moment honestly? Thank you for all that you do to actualize environmental justice. Every month, Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth organizes a series of workshops and gatherings. UU BIPOC Caucus on Climate Justice, UU Young Adults for Climate Justice, Strengthening Local Climate Commitments. Each of these is an opportunity, an ongoing opportunity to connect and gather in communities through UU Ministry for Earth. We are grateful for what you do, and we hope we can partner to do more together. This is the time in our service for a moment of offertory, where you can consider a donation to support the ongoing work of UU Ministry for Earth. We are grateful for your passion for environmental justice, and we're grateful for the support and sponsorship that you give throughout the year to allow this ministry and the collaborations that result from it to exist. If so inspired, you can donate to UU Ministry for Earth at www.uumfe.org, or you can write a check to UU Ministry for Earth, 1034 Southwest 13th Avenue, Portland, Oregon, 97205. We appreciate the support that you give in so many forms to the life of your congregations, your communities, and this ministry. Thank you for all that you do and all that we dream.
My dear friends, I'm David Waters, Minister of Education at King's Chapel, and I am so very glad to be with you today as we gather for the worship that sustains our work, that work of love and justice we're called to as people in sacred relationship with that interdependent web of all existence. The Reverend Egbert Ethelward Brown was a Unitarian minister and founder of the Harlem Community Church. He once offered a prayer that I share with you now. As we face a troubled and a puzzled world, we too are troubled and puzzled. As our fond dreams remain unrealized and our bright hopes of yesterday wither in the bitter disappointments of today, our courage fails, our spirits droop, our faith trembles, and, frustrated, we bow our heads in despair. Nevertheless, we come to God in this hour of worship, in this house of prayer, and we pray for peace in our time, O God. May we be at peace with the world, with ourselves, and with Thee. May we know that without love there will never be peace. Teach us, therefore, to love. My dear friends, as we gather in this 11th hour of the climate crisis, in this virtual, expansive house of prayer, as we remember the profound elements of earth, fire, air, and water, knowing that all of us together can do what none of us can do alone, may we be vessels of connection and possibility. May we accompany one another in hard times. May we be awake to the cries of climate migrants for justice. May we recognize what is healing and choose to live in ways to bring life and hope to the world. May the elements that connect us in the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part inspire us to reach beyond ourselves to one another in deeper, sacred, covenantal relationship. May we seek and offer love. May it be so.
Still burn. There are so many
We extinguish this flame, but not our fiery call to action. We extinguish this flame, but not our passion to care for creation. We extinguish this flame, but not our call to be in deeper connection with Earth and all of our relations. We extinguish this flame, but not the bright light showing us a better way. We extinguish this flame, and as we do, we acknowledge that our greatest asset is one another. The future depends on the changes we make, and we don't have much time to repair our mistakes. We'll work for a world where the children breathe free, where rivers and oceans are clean. It will take all of us, caring for all of us, sharing with all of us, a safer home, a safer home. It will take all of us, working with all of us, doing what none of us can
And now we invite everyone downstairs for a party for a farewell party for John and Craig Tanner, plus a celebration of 92nd birthday for John. Thank you, everyone.